Hi everyone, Jeff here from carbuyingtips.com. Today I'm going to show you how to change your turn signal light bulbs in your vehicle and also how to upgrade to LED light bulbs and all of the technical considerations you need to worry about. This one here says 1156A, and this is what most of the GX 470s from my era were using. And you can see right there, there's the part number. It says 1156. And then these two little letters here, it's kind of interesting. It's actually almost humorous. They stand for long life, which any of you who have the same model Lexus as me knows that that should really be called LOL because it's a joke. These things aren't long life. They don't last long at all. You put one in on the right side of the car, and a few months later you're changing the left side, and a few months after that the right side blows again. So you spend all year long just swapping out light bulbs. Okay, so here you can see the left blinker is blinking fast. That means, of course, the light bulb needs to be changed, so let's go change it. By the way, while we are on the subject of this, you should check out the blog on our website, carbuyingtips.com, about the Lexus cracked dash, or if you have a Toyota cracked dash. They have an extended warranty now for free where they're replacing the dashes, so you need to call your local Lexus dealer and make sure you're on that list. Okay, so there's the beast. And this is my preferred method of doing the repair. I put down a mover's cloth first, a blue mover's cloth. Gives me a lot of cushion to lay down on. And I have my nice LED spotlight pointing up in there. And we're going to show you just how we do it here. We lay down. So now you're laying down on your back and you're looking out the front of your car. There's your knee. And if you look up underneath the bumper, you'll see it back up in there. See up there the cluster of the headlights? That one in the middle right there with the red and white wire, that's a round gray cylindrical unit there. That's the bulb. That's the base of the bulb. Let me back it out a little bit there. So you're just going to twist that counterclockwise and you're going to pull it straight out and you'll see your bulb hanging down. Alright, so I'm laying on my back. I just twisted it and I'm pulling it out. And there's your bulb. See, right there. And you can see why that one's not working. So, to remove the bulb, what you do is you push in on the bulb here like this. And I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand, but I'm just going to tell you. You push in on the bulb, turn it counterclockwise, and it pulls right out. Now I'm going to insert an LED bulb because in my case I'm upgrading to LEDs, but it works the same way as the regular glass bulb. Just push the light bulb in and turn it clockwise and it will click into place, but you will need to use both hands to do it. So there is your light bulb. Your LED light bulb is now plugged into the socket. And let's zoom out here so you can see. And we're going to turn that socket around and we're going to plug it back up into the light housing there. And again, we're going to do the steps in reverse. So you're going to put it up into the housing, push it into the hole, and twist it to the right to tighten it, and then you'll be done. So let's go ahead and do that now. You got to reach way up there. Here is the finished product. The light bulb is now screwed back in. And let's go ahead and test it out. And here we are back inside the cracked dash Lexus again. Here's the moment of truth. Oh yes. Blinking normal, so that was probably going to mean that our light is working. And there it is. Blinking just as nice as you would expect it to. And it's nice and bright too. Okay, so here we are. Here's the right side of the truck here. And we're going to go under the bumper. And we're going to look underneath there. And you can see right up there in the middle, you see where the red wire and the white wire are connecting to that gray connector up there in the middle of the screen there. That is your turn signal. So all you're going to do is turn that counterclockwise by 90 degrees and it'll pop right out. So look, I'm doing that right now, see, and then out comes the bulb. And there's your light bulb. Okay, so check this nonsense out. You pull the bulb out, and look at this. Almost all of the amber color has worn off of it. This is why I'm sick of these bulbs. The LED will never fade. It will always be amber. It will be the perfect amber from day one all the way to the day it dies, 50,000 hours later. Now insert the new bulb and place the entire assembly back into the light housing. And go test. Oh yes, so now you can see it's working. And perfectly, much brighter amber color. Much nicer than it looked before. So this concludes our repair. And this should work probably very similar for most model vehicles as well. This is a GX470 2004 model year, but it works for many model years and even Toyotas. Hopefully it works for your brand as well. So here we are looking side by side. Here's the LED light bulb. Here's the other light bulb. It actually broke, but you can see the sockets here are exactly the same here. The base of the bulb where it plugs into the socket, those are exactly the same. The LED actually looks kind of neat. You can see there's surface mount LED chips all over the front and the side of this, so it'll simulate the bulb. And the manufacturers pretty much claim these are brighter than the light bulbs that they replace. And a lot of times these amber bulbs, they tend to darken too over time. They kind of get a little, I don't know if it's corroded or oxidized, but the surface is darkened, and so the light bulb won't be as efficient. But here, and these LEDs are supposed to have 50,000 hours of life on them. Well, after some testing, we had tried that other LED and it didn't work. Apparently the seller was misleading, I believe, when they claimed that, oh, you don't need any external load resistors. It's error-free, it'll hook up to your system. Well, it didn't do anything. All it did was blow my fuse when I put it in. So if anybody tells you you don't need to use a load resistor when you're upgrading to LED bulbs, they're lying. So I switched to this new one here that's made by JDM Star that I also got off of Amazon. And you can see it looks very similar to your normal 1156 light bulb, same socket. So this one here does require the load resistor. Now let me show you why we need a load resistor, okay? In a normal system, like your regular light bulb, incandescent, your battery has got 12 volts here. So you have your 12 volts, right? And it goes here to your light bulb. And your light bulb has a resistance, let's call it RL1, that's a load resistance. And the ECU, which is the little computer board inside your car that's reading the light bulb and the current and all that, and knowing how much wattage it is expecting to see a certain wattage. It's expecting to see that load, that RL1. So now all of a sudden you come along in your vehicle and you decide, oh, I want to add in this LED light bulb, this one right here, that looks a lot like this light bulb, except guess what? LEDs draw a lot less power. So it's going to have a load resistance, RL2. And guess what, folks? RL1 is not equal to RL2. So that right there is going to trick your ECU into thinking that this new LED bulb is burnt out. It doesn't know you put an LED in, and it doesn't know to change. And your car doesn't have, you know, the little flasher module isn't set up to work with LEDs. If you can buy one and put one in, then you're going to be fine. But the problem is, like in our GX470, it's nearly impossible to get it, the flasher. And on mine, mine's a 12-pin, whereas most are 8-pin. I can't even find a flasher that's LED right now for mine. But anyway, it's a lot easier, I think, just to crimp on the LED, the load resistor for the LED bulb. We wanted to come back to this drawing one more time just to show you what we're going to do. This load resistor is going to go across the new LED light bulb like that, so that this new combination here of resistance will make RL2 here sort of equivalent to RL1, and it's tricking your ECU into thinking that everything's fine. Okay, so here is your load resistor. This is what it looks like. It's a big old 50 watt, 6 ohm resistor. And remember, like capacitors, resistors don't have polarity, so it doesn't matter which side you connect to it, to your load. Okay, so the reason why it's on a heat sink is this is 6 ohms, and going across potentially 12 volts, you could be looking at 2 amps passing through this guy. And that's going to make it very hot, so you don't want to put it up against any plastic. They suggest, they give you mounting holes here. They suggest that you mount this to a metal bracket. Okay, so the way this works is, and I'm going to show you a piece of wire here. Say this is the wire going to your light bulb. There's, if you look at this little connector here that comes with it, there's 2 channels there. See the 2 channels? And the wire going to the light bulb, which is, say, this green wire here, he's going to go into one channel, and you grab one side of the resistor wire here, and he's going to go into the adjacent channel next to it. Just kind of route it in there like that. See, and you should be able to make it go slide easily like that. Okay, so they're going to be parallel, just like train tracks. And then what you do is you get a pair of pliers and you squeeze right there. Squeeze that down flat, and that little piece of metal there will pinch through the insulation on both of those wires and short them together. Now, in order to give you maximum slack on this resistor here, I want you to pull the wire all the way in like that, so it'll give you the maximum amount of slack there. Then you squeeze that down with the pliers, and you shut this lid. It'll snap close, holding the whole thing snug, and it won't come undone. And that's all you have to do. You do the same thing to the other side. So you're going to put this resistor, one wire goes on one wire of the light bulb. The other wire here is going to go across to the other wire on your light bulb. Now, on my vehicle, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because you're going to have to be lying on your back, reach up, and do all of this, and then put the light bulb back in, and then mount this on a bracket. Now I've got this other resistor ready to go for the other side of the lights. And I always like to pre-populate these crimping connectors on to this wire here, so that all I have to do when I reach up under the car is to just clip it onto the light bulb wire when it gets up there. It's just a lot easier that way. And I want to reiterate again, because this is really super important here, is if you look at this connector here, you can see that there are 2 clearly marked holes for those wires to go into. So you got to make sure that this wire is completely in its own track in there, and that the other wire is completely in its own track in there. You don't want to have the wire halfway sticking up out of this thing. They both have to fit going in the tunnel and out the tunnel, popping out both ends of that tunnel. Okay, and that's very, very crucial, because when you go to use the pliers to push this thing down, this little shunt right here, and it has to pierce the insulation on both of those wires, and it has to go all the way down and pierce both of them. This will be your #1 failure source here. If you go to hook this up and your lights are still flashing fast, it's because you didn't make a good contact here with the 2 wires on both ends. The same thing goes with this end and with that end. That's why we're spending so much time talking about this, because it's very important. Okay, so remember, both your wires have to go in completely parallel. They each go in their own tunnel, and they each pop out of their own tunnel. They're perfectly level and flat with each other, so that when you pierce this with the pliers here, it'll go in all the way down. And you want to make sure this goes down as far as it'll go, and that it's nice and flat when it goes down. And then you snap the lid over it. Okay? Okay, so there's your bulb hanging down with the red and white wire. And then remember, what we're going to do is we're going to take this resistor here that I showed you a minute ago. It's got the 2 red wires on it. One of the red wires will connect via a crimping connector that I showed you earlier to the red wire, and the other one will get crimped onto the white wire. Alright, so here you can see I've already connected up the first side of the resistor. I've crimped it onto the red wire, and then you can see the remaining connectors right here. I just need to go ahead and connect him over to the white wire on the back side of the bulb. And then I'm going to pull out the bulb and put in an LED bulb. The resistor is now finally connected, And now I'm going to twist out the glass bulb and put in the LED bulb. And you do that simply by untwisting and pulling it out. And when you put in the new LED bulb, you twist it to the right and it clicks into place. Well, there we are with our light bulb screwed back in. The problem is the manufacturer of the load resistor just didn't give us enough slack on those red wires there. So I can't reach any of the metal brackets that I was hoping to screw it up against, so we're just going to have to leave it hanging like that. I'm going to get some zip ties and just tighten up the wires so that they're bundled up to the wires next to them, and it'll keep the resistor from banging against anything. Alright, so here you can see on the left hand side I went ahead and put the resistor on there, and you can see it's attached with the two crimping connectors right across the parallel wires there of the light bulb. And there's the LED bulb in place. So now we're going to test it. And there it is. You can see it's blinking at the perfect frequency. Now we're testing the hazards to make sure that both lights are stressed and they're both working perfectly. So that's it, folks. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I hope this video has saved you a lot of time and money in changing your bulbs.